Hello my sweet friends and welcome to DIY with Nadia. With me is Mr. Simba in his beautiful bow tie, and in today's video I'm going to be doing a Dollar Tree Christmas swag. I love making my swags using 5-gallon stir sticks. Why? Because the swags are not too long. They're perfect for dinner tables or for coffee tables, and they're budget friendly or sometimes even free. Bonus. So without further ado, let's get started on our beautiful Christmas swag. Let's go over the supplies for this wreath. We are going to be using 3 rolls of Dollar Tree Deco mesh, or you can use 2 rolls of 10-inch Deco mesh or 1 roll of the 21-inch Deco mesh. The Dollar Tree Deco mesh is 6 inches by 5 yards, so if you're using a 21-inch Deco mesh by 10 yards, you can make 2 of these with that 1 roll. Then we're going to use some of these silver vase fillers. We're just going to need a few of these. Next, I'm going to be using 2 of these silver glitter berry picks. They are absolutely beautiful. 2 of these Christmas greenery picks. The ribbon that I'm going to be using is actually coordinating ribbon. One is a gray background, the other one's a dark green. Both of these are 1.5 inches in width and the edges are wired. You are going to need a total of 8 pipe cleaners, and of course a 5-gallon stir stick that you can pick up at your local hardware store. The first thing I always do is attach a hanging loop. You can also drill a little hole and just feed jute cord through that and tie a knot, and you got a beautiful hanging loop. But if you don't have any power tools, this is what I do. I'm going to be using a piece of jute cord, which is about 18 inches in length, and a piece of scrap felt, and I'm going to just use it to secure it in place when we're done. To get started, I fold my jute cord about 1/3 in, so here's my 1/3 and here's the rest of it, and about 2 inches in, I'm going to make a little loop. That's our hanging loop. Just like that. And then the rest of it is how we're going to secure the loop in place. Before I attach, I always make sure that the ruler side is on top because I do use it to attach my pipe cleaners. So the loop is going on the back with the tails that are left over. I'm just going to wrap around a few times and then tie a knot at the narrowest part of our stir stick. Cut the excess tail. And here is a close-up. This is the top of my swag, and this is the back of my swag with the loop. To secure it in place, I'm grabbing some hot glue, putting it right on top of my jute cord, grabbing that piece of felt. I'm going to put that over, and we are good to go. Let's attach the pipe cleaners. Our stir stick is 21 inches in length, and the center of it is 10.5 inches. So that is where we're going to start. At the 10.5 inches, we are going to do a double pipe cleaner. Find the center and bring it together sideways. And I'm going to twist at 10.5 on one side. Then the other pipe cleaner is going to go right next to it. And we are going to twist on the other side. The next 2 doubles are going on each side of the swag. And since the narrowest part is about 2.5 inches in, we are going to go right underneath where we attach the hanging loop, and we're going to attach 2 pipe cleaners. One on one side and the other one's going to go on the other side. Since we're 2.5 inches on this side, we're going to go to 2.5 inches on this side. I just love the fact that we have a little ruler to help us along. Now that these are in place, I have 2 more and they're going to go in between. This does not need to be exact. I'm sure you guys can eye where these are going in the middle. And this time I'm attaching it in the center of our stir stick, and we're going to face that up. If you would like, you can definitely give it a little bit of hot glue so these stay in place. And they will stay in place really nicely because this is raw wood. And then at the bottom one, I am going to put some, just like I did on the other one, but I'm going to put a little bit more on the sides. Grab another piece of felt or scrap felt and put it right over. For our Deco mesh, I decided to add 1 more roll. Just something told me that 3 is not going to be enough because as I opened it, look how sparse it is. This swag is a great way to use up your Dollar Tree Deco Mesh. I'm going to show you how I'm going to put it in my little container, starting with the worst looking one, which for me is this one. I'm going to put it right against the wall. The second one is going to go into this little clear container, and I'm going to line it up. For kicks and giggles, I'm going to just clip it to keep it in place. The third one is going to go on the other side of this container. Clip that. And the fourth one is going to go on the outside. Move it to the side. Because the Deco Mesh rolls are not touching each other, roll up and you're going to have a smooth roll. We're ready to attach the Deco Mesh, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach only to the doubles. Just think about it as going around our swag. On both sides, you can make 10 to 12 inch loops. I'm going to be doing 12. And then here on the sides, I'm going to be making 14-inch loops. I want the poofiness to be there. We're going to have a huge bow in the center, so I do want the Deco Mesh to show from the sides. And I know it's white, but it's going to be actually on a dark table, so it should look fine. First thing I'm going to do is gather my Deco Mesh, all 4 rolls together. Because we do have the 4 rolls, I'm just going to go around and make sure that everything has been gathered. Now that it has, we're starting on the side. As you can see, the Deco Mesh is poofing towards the table, and my tail is going on the inside of my swag. 2 tight twists. Now I'm going to measure my 12 inches and attach to the pipe cleaner on the other side, just like this. We just made a nice loop on here. You can also eye this if you want, but I do like to measure, so we're going to go 14 inches on here. This is going to be so full and beautiful. Now I'm attaching to the center double, 2 twists, my next 14 inches, and now I'm attaching it to the pipe cleaner on the other side. Next, we need to do the loop on this side, and that's going to be 12 inches. The next 2 loops are going to be 14 inches. I'm coming back to where I started, going to untwist and insert, and I'm going to twist again. Next, we're going to cover the center. I'm going to make 2 10-inch loops. One is going to cover this side right here. The next one is going to go right here, and that is where we're going to go to our first single. From here, I'm going to make a big loop. Really, I'm not going to measure. I'm just going to make a big poofy one. We're going to cover a little bit of this, and we're just going to give a lot more volume to this wreath. And then here, we're going to make another 10-inch loop to one of the sides, doesn't matter where. And then here, another 10-inch loop to cover this side, starting with our first loop. And I'm just going from side to side. From this pipe cleaner, I'm going to go to the other pipe cleaner. Give it a good 2 twists. The next loop is where I'm going to go to my single. Now I'm going to go single to single. This is where I said I'm not even going to look. I'm going to see what looks good, and I am going to measure it just so I know how much I want on the other side. That ended up being about 15 inches. Next, I'm going to do 2 10-inch poofs to cover up this area. I measured off another 10 inches. It's going to hop on over to the other side. You don't have to follow my exact way. Just start going around and then start filling in the center. Because I already have the 2 loops to cover this area, I'm going to go flat from here to my next single. And now I'm going to do the big loop in the center that I'm going to measure off at about 15 inches. Let me measure off. And the reason I'm doing this is I do want to make sure both sides are fairly even. At this point, I know that this is going to be my last loop. So I'm going to go ahead, cut off all that excess, and I'm going to put it right on top, but I am going to hide the tail. To hide the tail, I'm going to go right behind that loop, and now it's gone. At this point, you can decide to open up your loops. Because I have 4 rolls of Deco Mesh, I'm not going to be opening up every single one. I'm going to do it by 2. 2 at the bottom, 2 at the top. I'm going to just push it down, open it up a little bit, filling that space up. My swag is all poofed out. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to put super sweet bows on each corner of the swag. So we're going to need 4. And then in the center, we're going to have a huge bow. I'm so excited. First things first, we're going to make our sweet little bows, and I'm going to measure 24 inches. Since we need 4 of them, I'm going to need 4 strips. I zigzagged 4 strips. Now I'm going to make dovetails by folding the ends in half and cutting out a little triangle. For our sweet little bows, what we're going to do is we're going to grab our ribbon and we're going to twist it into an awareness ribbon. Let's do this one more time. We're going to grab it and just twist it. One of these, just twist. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my placemat. I want my tail to be 4 inches. End of my dovetail to 4 inches. And I'm just going to measure this one up. This corner right here is where I'm going to grab this side, going to find my center just by pulling it, bringing it back, and we have our bow. Now we're going to just squeeze, squeeze, squeeze in the center, and we are going to attach. I'm going to twist all the way up because at this point your pipe cleaner should not be that big. I'm going to fold and fold back, and then later on we're going to put something in the center of these bows. Now how adorable is this? Let's make another bow together. First we're going to do an awareness ribbon. Then we're going to go to our measuring mat, 4 inches. Bring this one in until I have 4 inches here. Pinch on that little square. Find my center. Bring it in. Squeeze, 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 squeeze in the center. And attach it to the next one. All your bows should be facing out. We're going to hide the pipe cleaner in the back. Our sweet little bows are in place, and now we're going to make the main bow. For the bow, I'm going to be using both green and gray ribbon. First things first, let's measure off a tail. I want mine to be at least 10 inches in length. This ribbon is single-sided, so every time I come through the dowels, I'm going to twist, and the way you want to think of it is you always want the ribbon to face up. My loops are going to be 6 inches. I'm going to do 4 for now, and then I'm going to have the green ribbon, and of course we are twisting in the middle and making same 6-inch loops. 2 more loops with the gray on top. To bring the bow together, I'm going to be using a zip tie. For a bow that has really strong ribbon like this one is, you really need to make sure that you have a good secure connection. Nice and tight. Cut off the excess. Now I'm bringing in my pipe cleaner, and this is what's going to attach our bow to the center of our swag. I'm securing the bow in the back. And now we're just going to start bringing up all our loops. For a best full bow, what you want to do is grab your loop, and right here in the center where it was folded, we're going to open it up and make this area flat. That's what's going to make it look full. We're going to flatten these out, and look at this. Our bow is being filled right in front of your eyes. It's just becoming poofier and poofier and poofier by the second. What I decided to do, since we have 3 tails, is this green one is going to go in the center, the 2 gray ones are going to go on the side, and obviously these are just way too long. So first things first, I'm going to cut my green one, just make a little dovetail. And because I want the other side to be the same, I am going to go to the center and measure it, and it looks like about 7.5 inches. So I'm going to do the same thing on this side. There you go. Next, we want to do the corners. I do want it to be longer than my green one, about 9 inches. Let's measure about 9 inches on this side. Now that all my ribbon is on, I'm going to bring greenery and those silver berries. Oh my goodness, so beautiful. So first things first, I'm going to open everything up. And when I do that, it's going to help me integrate it into the greenery. I want it to be kind of a part of it. Twist it in between these branches. That greenery is so beautiful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick this right inside. And remember that pipe cleaner that we never took off, those singles? That is what's going to hold up our little piece. And I'm going to just wiggle it in. Make sure to loop both of the branches. And I'm going to twist it in place in the back. And then when we refluff our bow, it's just going to be so pretty. This side is done, and I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Our last step is to add on some of these vase fillers to the center of our cute little bows. I picked out the biggest, shiniest ones, and I'm just going to hot glue them to the center of each of the bows, just like this. I'm all done with this swag wreath, and the nice thing about it is from the top, this is what my guests are going to see, and when they sit down on the couches and looking at my coffee table, this is the view they're going to see. They're going to see the sweet, cute little bows, and I just think this is a great swag with this color combo to last me the whole winter. While you guys were watching the video, Simba and I have been just standing here cuddling and cuddling and cuddling. If you enjoyed this swag and would love to see more wreath tutorials, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the little bell button if you're not subscribed already. Thank you so much for being with me. Don't forget to comment and say hello because you know I love chit-chatting with you guys. With that being said, thank you so much, and we will see you in our next video. Bye, everyone. Simba, say bye. Bye. Mwah. Bye, guys. That's right. Bye, guys.